All right, welcome back to The Layman and the Brewer. Joining me today on the kegs is Daniele Danesin from Cassels Sons Brewing. Welcome to the show.
Hi everyone.
So, kick things off, Daniele. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your history, how you got into brewing, and where you came from?
Yeah, well, I'm from Italy, and we moved here in New Zealand, especially here in Christchurch, almost 3 years ago. And on my background, I was basically a rower for most of my life, more or less 20 years, so quite a bit. And I'm a 5-time world champion, and I competed on the Olympic Games in London in 2012. After the Olympic Games, I decided to quit with the sport, professional sport, because it's good fun, but it's quite hard. And Steffi and I, my girlfriend, we decided to quit our job over there in Italy. And I was always quite passionate about beers, but I was just like probably quite a few of you guys. Just a home brewer, just have fun at home, brew some beer, just for say, hey, you want to try my beer?
Yep.
Yeah, we brewed this beer a couple of months ago and blah, blah, blah. But I never thought about be a brewer properly. And we moved here, and after a couple of months working here in Christchurch, I figured it out was a good time for me to try to get into it like 100%. So I asked around here, and I straight got a good answer from a brewer not far from here. And I started brewing, and it's basically almost a bit more than 2 years now. I'm a Cassels Sons brewer, and I quite enjoy it. Honestly, it's a really hard work, but if you have a passion, there is no hard work. Yeah.
So you're quite happy with the career change from Olympic rower to brewer, which is quite a big change.
It's completely different stuff, but yeah, definitely, and I quite enjoy be a brewer. Like I said, it's a hard work. I mean, especially like now the summer is coming, so the hot weather is coming, so everyone is asking for more beer, but yeah, it's
keeping
fun.
you busy brewing as much as you can.
It's super busy, and Cassels Sons Brewery is getting bigger and bigger, so we are busy. Yeah, but
Nice.
It's fun. Yeah.
Well, coming from Italy to New Zealand, what's the difference in beers like between those two countries?
So the big difference to me was the product. It's way easy here to find a good product, especially the hops, because I mean Nelson region is famous all over in the world for those beautiful hops like Nelson Sauvin or Riwaka or whatever. And that one was the big differences. And also the malt is quite easy to find a good malt here. We're using a lot of malt from Germany and UK, but yeah, the New Zealand malt the quality is quite high, and everything is basically more simple. The bureaucracy is more simple, and everything is simple here compared to Italy. Yeah.
Yeah, we like simple.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely the quality and it's super easy to have amazing hops. So it's also, I think for now it's also cheaper than Europe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So obviously over there you'd be able to try quite a number of beers from around Europe, not necessarily just Italy. How do New Zealand beers stack up against them?
If there is a beer I miss from Europe, it's the Belgian style, because it's impossible to replicate that kind of beer, because they have like a huge amount of experience, like the Belgian wheat beer or like the sour beer from Belgium is impossible to replicate here. The wild yeast is such a beautiful beer, but yeah. And I think New Zealand is doing quite good. And yeah, the difference I found from Europe to here is everyone here is looking for hops, always, more or less. And sometimes the people forgot about the balance of the beer. In Europe is more complicated to find unbalanced beer. But I think it's not just New Zealand fault, but it's also everything is coming from USA basically. They start brewing those really aromatic beer, like famous one of all APA, and yeah, it's not that simple to brew a beautiful, aromatic and bitter beer. So we have to try to find a balance from basically water, yeast, malt, and hops. Yeah, I think that one is the tricky part. Yeah.
So now that you're with Cassels, have been for a couple of years, like you say, they're a pretty big brewery and they're getting bigger all the time, expanding. How does that work with you as a brewer? Do you get to experiment? Do you get to try different things or come up with ideas, or do you have strict things that you've just got to brew and that's what you do?
Yeah, also this one is a tricky question because is when we are busy like now, it's quite difficult to find a time to brew a special beer. So right now we are brewing just our core range beer. There is no other room for brew other beers, honestly. But also if Cassels Sons is getting bigger and bigger during the winter time, we normally have time to brew some special beer, like we did with our Braggot, or we did our ASB, our Black IPA. So it's kind of a good balance to core range beer. When we are busy, just put 100% of our effort on those beer, and when we are not busy, we can find a spot to put
a little bit more creative, and have
more
fun.
creative. Yeah. Because I mean, everyone loves to brew different beers because it's fun.
Oh, it must be, a really enjoyable part of the brewing process.
Yeah, I think it's fun for the brewing team, and also it's fun for the our guests because they can try something different. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So in the time that you've been here brewing, what's been a standout beer that you've brewed that you think, you tried that one, you went, yeah, we nailed it?
It was our Braggot. Braggot is a really old beer style.
And that's a Belgian style?
More from north part of Europe, like extremely north, like Norwegia or whatever, those kind of region. Basically, the original recipe was that beer was served warm with spice. So we try to blend together the new style of beer and the old style of beer. So we can't really serve a warm beer like 25 degrees. So
it doesn't really go too well in New Zealand, no.
So we figured out to use a wild thyme honey. We use a huge amount of wild thyme honey, and we also use as a spice, we use thyme, like fresh thyme. I cut it by myself. And we also use, I think, something like 8 different malt, and was a beautiful beer because when I was brewing, the aroma on the brewery was like amazing, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be quite a good beer. But when I put the honey, I was like, it's gonna be a really, really good beer. Yeah, and also during the fermentation was always, there was no time when we thought like, nah, maybe we use too much of this, too much of that. Yeah, it was perfect one. And we also use Manuka smoked malt, and yeah, that one was the
nice.
In Italy we say ciliegina sulla torta. It means the cherry on top of the cake.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really good beer.
Do you, for a beer like that, because you've got such a range of ingredients in it and some quite unique ones that you might not necessarily be familiar with brewing with, is there a lot of trial and error before you're actually brewing a big batch? Do you try it and go, yeah, no, we need a bit more of that, try it again, or do you just go, I'm pretty confident that all of this mix will work, let's whack it in a big vat, see what happens?
Yeah, normally at Cassel our trial batch is normally 1,400 liters, and it's,
that's not exactly a small trial batch, but yeah.
And that more or less is our first try, yeah, normally. And after, if it's a good beer, if like Bragot, we decide to brew that beer, but just once. I'm not sure if we want to brew that beer again. But if it's, normally if it's like a new beer for our core range beer, we normally do like 1,400 liters first, and after we can adjust it. But normally we are more or less quite confident. We have to change something, but not that much. Hopefully.
Nice. Also, at the moment we're sort of heading towards summer. Weather's definitely been quite nice and warm lately. So what's sitting in your fridge? What are you liking to drink at the moment?
My fridge is quite full of Cassels Sons bottles now. Now we are able to bottle our beer. But yeah, maybe can sound weird because everyone's thinking he's a brewer and he's probably gonna say APA or IPA, but I'm going for a lager. Yeah. If it's a really good lager, because lager is quite simple. It's super easy to find a mistake on the beer. Mm-hmm. So if it's a bad lager, definitely not. I prefer APA, normal APA. But if it's a good lager, really crisp, I'm going for a lager. Yeah, definitely for lager style, probably Epic Lager or Hallo Pilsner. Yeah, Hallo Pilsner probably more.
That is an absolutely lovely Pilsner. Quite like to get your thoughts on just a couple of topical questions within the industry. One, the use of the word craft. There's been quite a bit in and around the industry lately about whether we should drop the word craft or whether we should go to something like independent, because craft is getting too diluted, because the big boys are now making what they call craft beer, but we know they don't quite make it the same way as real craft beer brewers. What are your thoughts on that?
So I don't like big boy, honestly, because I prefer when the big boy normally they bought a brewery, they completely not now, but few years ago they were basically destroy the craft market for me, and I don't like when the people they say I sold my brewery to big boy, but I'll be here every day like normal, like usual. I don't think it's gonna happen because you are a millionaire now, so I don't think your beer is gonna be the same and you be there like normal time. But that is just my opinion, so it's tricky. I mean, if I was a owner of a brewery and one of the big boys, they came to me and they say, do you want 20 million for your brewery? I just say, where do I have to sign?
It's not too difficult a question or a decision.
Yeah, but if I'm not sure if I be able to open my own brewery, but yeah, never say never. But if some of the big boy, they came to me and say, yeah, you want to sell your brewery for tot million, I definitely say yes, but I'm off. Yeah, just go for holiday and enjoy. Yeah, yeah, because it's honestly it's a super hard work. I know how many hours, how many bad word and bad batch and dark time. It's because everyone is thinking, yeah, he's a brewer, is just fun, and he can just brew some beer and get drunk, but it's not that. It's not that. It's more difficult and work and research and hard work. Yeah, so that's why I don't like the big boy. They came here and they just put the money for all the years you spend around that. But yeah, it's impossible to say no for those big boys. It's too much money. And I think also is good because if you put a lot of effort on it and you deserve it. So I don't like. I think we have to do something like in USA. So if one of the big boys own your brewery for more than 25%, you're not craft anymore. But yeah, that is just my opinion.
Yeah, so you're saying that you think that we do need something to define the small independent breweries versus the big ones, whether they're a craft brewery that's owned by a big brewery or they're...
Yeah, I think craft is too generic. Like in USA, they decide to put upside down bottles on the labels of the bottles beer. If you have that, you are if you're drinking a beer with that sign, you're sure there is no more than 25% of big brewery inside of that beer. So I think something like that is hard. It's hard to figure it out the best way to do it. But I think for now here in New Zealand we are sort of like the beer market is getting bigger and bigger, but we are not that big right now. So I don't think we really have to do it right now. But I think probably like 4 or 5 years we're gonna have to start doing something. Yeah.
Okay. Now there's been some talk over the last probably 6 months to a year, possibly longer, within the industry, that maybe New Zealand could do with its own specific beer, whether it be a style or whatever, just so that we can brand it, we can get known, much like an APA from America. Everybody knows it, no matter what country you're in. An APA means an American Pale Ale. Do you think if New Zealand was to come up with one of those, what do you think that would be? What would that taste like?
Yeah, if I have to think about some beer from New Zealand, the most famous is definitely New Zealand Pale Ale. It's a tricky one because they are normally quite good, but more or less or they are all similar. Like normal pale ale malt, probably a bit of crystal malt the weird thing is everyone is using Nelson's Oven right now. Like
it is
everyone.
Very tasty and popular hops. Yes.
And it's quite simple to figure it out if someone is using that hop on the beer. So it's quite recognizable. But I think if we want to choose just one new category for New Zealand beer, I think is or New Zealand Lager or New Zealand Pale Ale. Definitely, yeah.
Awesome. It's been great to have you here on the Kegs, answering some questions and giving us a bit of insight into yourself and Cassels Sons Brewery. Thanks very much for coming along.
Yeah, thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much. See you guys.